Hey everybody, Wakia Thunder, greetings, and welcome to all the new members, or however many members came into the Campfire Council. I was going to talk about the West today. I was thinking about the whole situation, been looking at the world situation again, and had a few moments out of my day here, so I thought maybe I'd just harass everybody again. I think the West has fallen. I think basically the USA, maybe Canada. We know a bunch of the European Union is in trouble, but I think that the West is in just as big a trouble and has really actually fallen. And that's why we see so much chaos. We scratch our heads sometimes and we wonder, we wonder why all the lies and why is everybody running around and why all the chaos and why all the confusion and why all. Well, what happens when a ship's sinking and everybody's like running for the lifeboats and there is no lifeboats? What happens when you're in a situation where you know it's over and you're just like scrambling around trying to salvage what's left so that you can split the scene, okay, or whatever you're going to do? All of the indications to me show me that these guys in Washington and Obama and the neocons and all those people, Congress, everybody, they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, like when my dad used to axe a chicken's head in the backyard and watch it run around the yard. That's what these people are doing. And the way things are shaping up in Europe, it looks like, I'm not going to count on it, but it looks like there's some people waking up, or maybe they already woke up and just realize it's futile as far as their little charade that they got going over there with the West against Putin and all the propaganda that's been propped up. And I'm telling you, people don't realize in the West here in the USA that it's probably over already. They keep saying, when's the financial collapse and when's this going to happen and when's that going to happen? I think it's already happened. It's just being masqueraded. They're putting a face on something that's already done, over with, dead, whatever you want to call it. It's over. And they're just scrambling around trying to figure out how they can save the last remnants of society and maybe try to keep perpetuating society or whatever they think they're going to do. But when you look at the cracks happening in the EU with France and Germany, Merkel, and I don't really think they have a choice except to like stop this bullshit with Russia and Putin, and they're looking at his peace plan now. And even Sarkozy came out, the ex-president of France, and said that whole Crimea thing was like, it should have happened because they saw what was coming down the road. And of course it should have happened. They saw that this was all going to cave in, the Ukraine. That's why they exited the scene so quick. And so I just see cracks all over the place in the European Union, and I see strength with Putin and China and the BRICS nations and the whole Eurasian trip. And I'll go even one step further here. What resources, or no, what options does the West have now, if it does fall apart, to hide the fact that there's financial calamity over here in the U.S., that it's over? So if this falls apart, this is the scenario. This is how critical it is. If this falls apart over there, like it looks like it's doing, and there's more siding with Russia, and Greece might go with Russia, I I would say that as soon as it falls apart, which could be any day now, right after that will come the financial calamity and collapse of the USA. Because it's game over, it's party over, we can't start a war, we can't start a world war, we can't start a multi-nation war, we can't do this because our covers have been pulled. I'll get that out. Covers have been blown, pulled, whatever. That's when that's when it's going to come. You have to gauge as to what's happening, like when they're scrambling around trying to cover everything up. And it's not just they're trying to cover everything up for purposes of propping it up, or that the financial collapse hasn't already happened. It's happened. Probably happened back in 2008 and just got worse and worse and worse. So if it has already happened, let's just assume for a minute that it has already happened. Game up when these people split up in EU and they don't support the West's little warmongering trip here. And maybe there is peace, or maybe they... I don't have any pie in the sky illusions that there will be peace, but there'll never be peace. I mean, there's going to be a war regardless. Even if it's the last ditch attempt by the West to commit suicide. I mean, so let's get science fiction here for a minute, or let's get way out. Let's just speculate. Doesn't mean any of this is true. I'm just speculating. But a lot of times when I speculate, things come true. So what happens if, like, say, the option doesn't work out in the EU, things start falling apart, NATO sees that their game is up, the jig is up as far as, like, perpetuating war to cover up the USA's already financial collapse, and the financial collapse starts happening, and brothers turning against brother, and there's rioting in the streets, and there's just utter chaos in America all of a sudden because of no food on the shelves and that type thing. And I'm thinking, well, what would happen in a scenario like that as far as, like, other nations viewing what's going on here and the people collapsing and fighting each other? I don't think that they would want this culture to go down. I was talking with somebody else today, and they suggested that one of these other countries might, through the UN, come in here with a peacekeeping force. In other words, outside intervention into this country to keep it from going down, to save it, to save the people, because I don't think other nations want to see the people in this country go under and kill half the population and that type of thing. So that's a possibility. That's a possibility that Russia or China under peacekeeping forces, or maybe it's just so out of hand that they just decide to come in and take over. So you better learn how to start speaking Russian or Chinese, one of the two. No, but I mean, I know I'm pushing the envelope there, but that's not totally outside the purview of what could happen. And then, okay, so let's take another science fiction thing. What if this country just changes radically into a... Once they've fallen and the financial thing's gone, boom, and it's no longer America and it's no longer capitalism. God help us if they resort to an outright, how do I put it? The bankers will probably be pretty much over with. Somebody might decide to make a dictatorship here or change the whole country. I think basically what I'm trying to say here is that I think the worldview, if America goes down, if this is House of Cards comes down, the worldview is going to change from a Western point of view to a Eurasian point of view, or an Asian, Eurasian point of view. And that might not be a bad thing. That might not be a bad thing, and that might just permeate our culture, because really there is no culture in America. I got news for people. The only culture that was here that was real culture was the Native Americans, and then after that the slaves came in and created quite a bit of culture here with jazz and blues and some of that stuff. But as far as America having a culture that goes way, way back, like the Nordic people in Russia and the Chinese civilizations that are just so far advanced you can't even freaking believe it. China in its dynasties has a record, and its martial arts and its philosophical thought and Confucius and all that stuff. That stuff goes back thousands and thousands of years. And how long has America been in existence? It was always said when I was a kid. It was just a saying. People said the yellow race will rule someday. Hey, maybe they weren't wrong. So that won't bother me any. I don't care what color the skin is, and I don't really care if there's a collapse. And I would just like to see this system start over in America, because it's played out. They played their last hold card. They're playing it now. They're playing it now, and if that hold card doesn't give them an inside straight or something, it's party over. And I think it's over anyway. I already said we're in World War III and the Great Tribulation and all that stuff. And when you look at military might, it's really no contest whatsoever with the military might of Russia or China or the combined of those two or whatever against U.S. It's really no contest. I got news for you people. So what it's going to boil down to is, what are individuals going to do when this plays out, like I just described, and the financial comes right after the loss of this hold on the EU? I just don't see how they're going to hold the EU. People are waking up over there. They're going, no, not going to go along with that program anymore. And well, they should, because they're realizing that it's a dead-end street. It's bound to happen. And I don't think this whole thing is orchestrated by the New World Order. The New Order, or let's put it the New World View, will be a Eurasian worldview. Okay? And that might be a good thing, being as that there's thousands of years of culture. Every martial art I ever learned was from China, and the Japs stole it from them, the Japanese. And other people stole all the real martial arts come from China and the Shaolin Monastery and the Kuan Yin Monastery and the philosophical thought of Confucius and Buddhism and all that stuff. Even some of it came from India through China, okay? Because Bodhidharma was supposed to, who brought Kung Fu, was supposed to originally came from Indus Valley or India. And the Hopis say that destruction will come from the east, the keepers of the light, and the keepers of the light could mean China because they invented fireworks and light and that kind of light, you know, fireworks and gunpowder. And they were enlightened too. Okay. The Taoist section, or their spirituality, was pretty enlightened. So I'm just throwing some ideas out there. You don't have to agree with me, but this is kind of what I see. That the financial collapse is going to come. Everybody says they're trying to do a war, which they are. They got several wars going to cover up the financial collapse. Now, the only other thing is if they have another card that when the financial collapse comes, they come up with something else. Of course, you know, if it does come, they're going to blame it on Russia, or they're going to blame it on China, or they're going to blame it on some other nation. That's a given. Just so the people will think that it wasn't them. And people are stupid, you know, they're not paying attention. I was talking to some lady in the parking lot today because she had a cello. And I'm a musician, so I struck up a conversation with her. And somehow she started talking about, oh, those poor people in Ukraine. And I thought, well, this lady knows what's going on. But she didn't really, because she thought, then she launched onto this thing about how Putin was a bad guy. And have you seen that they're saying that the news is saying that he's got the mannerisms of Asperger's syndrome? And I'm like, that's propaganda. I'll give you an Asperger's syndrome. That's how stupid these people, and they think that Russia's causing the Ukrainians to be. They think it's Russia's fault that the Ukrainians are suffering and they're dying, and they think it's Putin that's doing it. Hello? I said, no, lady, it's just the opposite. We went in there and set up a coup, and then she started turning around and getting in her car. It was time to get in her car and leave. See, that's how people are. They don't want to hear the truth. And I said, look, I'm not BSing you. I'm an award-winning author. I look at this stuff all the time. You want to know the truth or don't you? That's how I talk to people. That's our duty. To tell people what's really going on. They got a 180-degree... I heard it said on X22, and I agree with them. If anybody says anything on there, propaganda-wise, the states say, it's this, or it's that, or it's that, you turn it right around 180 degrees, and the opposite of that is really the truth. Okay? So when they say, Russia's causing the war in Ukraine, it's really the U.S. is causing the war in Ukraine. We all know that. Any of us that have any kind of, that have more than 2 functioning brain cells, hello? We all know that already. We all know. We're just waiting to see what happens. We're just watching the grand chessboard, the grandmasters. Problem is, Russia's playing chess in the game of Go, and the West is still on checkers. They're still playing checkers. King me. It's sad, really. And you know what? As a native, this is my land. I don't really call it America. It's Turtle Island. And I don't really give a shit if America goes belly up. Okay? Because one government ruling this place is, what's the difference? Whether it's one government or another government, or there might be no governments, which would be really good. But I'm hoping, just for the sake of saving a bunch of people's lives, that some country comes in and takes takes, you know, when things start flipping out, people start going chaotic and they start rioting and all that stuff. Sure, it's going to happen. There's going to be at least a month straight of it. And if nobody steps in like another country and has compassion for us and sends in forces to like quell the riot control, because I don't think our forces are up to it, to be truthful with you. I don't think the forces that they're getting all the police departments all bulked up here with weapons and guns and bullets, and so what? The American people have millions of guns. It's going to be all out voting from the rooftops, you know what I'm saying? With a scope and a long sniper rifle and just taking out people that you want to take out, and it's going to be horrendous. It's going to be horrendous. So I see this stuff as like we're in it right now. We're in it. Cuz look around. I mean, so it's peaceful here kind of. It's not really. And so there's a lot of chattering and chatter and yapping going on with these meetings and stuff, but there's a perpetual motion machine here that is pulling this thing towards, once you put that flywheel, okay, in motion, you can't back that sucker up so easily. That flywheel is in motion just like a flywheel. You know, a flywheel is a wheel with a weight on it that just keeps going round and round and round once you start spinning it. And I don't think these people are that smart. You really want to know the truth of people in the West? They may be smart in ways of finances and ways of scheming and cowardice and backbiting and Murder Incorporated, and they might be, but that's like an outlaw, okay? So you got the outlaws in the Old West, and you got the sheriff, or you got the guy that's goes against the outlaws and stands up to them, okay? And it's not the people in this country standing up, it's other countries that are starting to stand up. Because once you see an outlaw mentality just projecting itself blatantly on other people, not that there's not outlaws in other countries or they, you know, that they're all perfect, no. But this is called blatant, out in your face projection of their outlaw mentality. The West, USA. And they're trying to make everybody else look like outlaws, like terrorists, like bad guys, like it's obvious. There's just too many lies they've been caught in. You don't even have to think about, I mean, just look at all the incidents like Benghazi and, you know, the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And I mean, I could go on here all day. Come on. We know they're a bunch of friggin' liars, backbiters, twisters, arm twisters, the worst of the worst. They're heathens, baby. They're savages. Remember they used to call the red man a savage? Hello? Hello? I think we know now who the savages really are, don't we? I think we know that it wasn't the red man that was the savage on this land. It was the friggin' goon squad that came in here on the Mayflower and took over everything and spread their disease and filth in cities and manifest destiny and on and on and on, killing the buffalo, killing the earth people, kill. I think we know who the good guys and the bad guys are by now. The red man does. So if you don't, well, then it's time you do know. And I'm telling you, You can take it or leave it, okay? But when the shit hits the fan, you'll remember what I say, or what I'm saying now. Yeah, there was that guy back then that said this was all over and blah, 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 blah. But talking to that woman today just made me see how diametrically opposed their worldview is to mine, and how they've been brainwashed and sucked into this giant sucking sound that's not just jobs that left this country, it's intelligence left this country, thinking ability left this country, sanity left this country. So it's spread like to the whole world, because the West is trying to control the whole world. So anything they do, they're going to perpetuate through their puppets around the world. Even Japan they're using now. Oh yeah, you can go military now, it's okay. Of course, during World War II, they said they'd never allow that to happen, Japan ever to go military. They took an oath on it. They've signed a... So what? How many petitions have they signed with the Redskins? Okay, the native people, the red man. The skins, they call them. That's the inside name from the res. Okay, so that's just my thoughts for today. I kind of see it as already gone down. I keep seeing that. It's just a matter of when the realization comes that it's already gone down. When the stark realization comes. And those of us that are sitting in my seat, and there's a lot of people that agree with me, they're on my page, trust me, and more people every day, are seeing that it's already basically over. So, have fun in the clover, you know, it's over, have fun in the clover. All right, I'll leave it there today. I rambled on enough, but I was just thinking about it, and it's like, I got nothing else to do here for a few minutes, so I thought I'd pop out this video. Like I say, there might not be another one for a week or however long I go through this transition period of moving or whatever, but looks like things are starting to ease up, and maybe it could turn out to be okay for Thunder here, don't know. I never count my chickens or anything before I'm like, see the egg, so to speak. I never think that I'm in a good position or that things are happening for me until I see it with my own eyes. And then when I see it with my own eyes, I'll go, so I'll let you know, like, after next weekend. But I think that people have been sending me some good energy. Thank you if you have been. Send me some more. It works, people. Let's keep this concept in mind about the Campfire Council and it being a sacred space and a sacred place for right speech, right action, right living, right, whatever the Eightfold Path is. Matt will tell you. I can't remember it right off the top of my head. Anyway, I'm out of here via con Dios and walk the red road. Over and out.